So you want to operate on my wife, it's only 1 pound of blood available. Anything happen in case of emergency, you don't even have ambulance on ground. Now, my neighbor wants to donate because he's a universal donor. He said you don't have what you can use to collect blood and to screen the blood. No blood, no ambulance. And the pressure they put on people for operation is too much. I got married on the 25th of September 2021. I got married to Rachael, Philip. And ever since we got married, we have been living peacefully, happily, and God has been faithful. And she has been a good wife to me. She's a full housewife. And then I tried to help her get admission to Yaba College of Technology. And along the line, she got pregnant and she couldn't cope. So I asked her to stop. And since then, she has been a full housewife. And I've been the one working, and we have been fine and okay. And God has been faithful. On the 29th of March this year, which is on Wednesday, I came back from work, and my wife, she's 9 months pregnant. So she told me she's feeling pains in her leg, her waist, and signs of labor. So I took her to the hospital, Bees Hospital, along Akowonjo. So when we got there, we met the doctor, and the doctor said, okay, that we should meet with the gynecologist. So we waited, and the gynecologist was not around yet. So we met with the MD of the hospital, and we explained to him. So he said we should do a scan, which we did. When we did the scan, the result came out that she's 40 weeks plus some days, and that they will place her on observation. So we were in the hospital, they admitted her, we were there. And when they came, they checked her, they said her cervix is not opened yet, that it had to be opened before she can actually give birth. That those are signs of labor. So they gave her some drugs. They started something inside her, and that I asked them what it is. They said the thing is to soften the cervix. So we were there, they kept on coming to check, the cervix did not open. So that evening, they came, they told me that they would need to operate on her. And I said, when the gynecologist came, before the MD said they would operate on her, the gynecologist came and did the calculation. She said that it's just 40 weeks, that is not yet no extra days, that we should not allow the hospital to put pressure on us for operation, that some women give birth 2 weeks before that date and 2 weeks after. So I told the MD, I said the gynecologist came, and based on the information with her, they did the calculation that the last time she saw her period and everything, that it's just 40 weeks, that no additional dates, that at times the scan is not accurate when it comes to giving the particular days of the pregnancy, that scan only gives correct figure how the baby is doing, the fluid and everything. And then the MD said, okay, that they'll keep watching her. Then that night, there was too much pressure on operation, that they have to operate her, the baby is not breathing well, this. I said, why are you giving, I asked the man, why this too much pressure? They already brought the paper for me to sign and this and that. I said, no, that we are not going to do the operation, since the gynecologist said the baby is just 40 weeks, and that at times some people are in labor for 2 days, 3 days. So when the pressure was too much, I called my neighbors, 2 of my neighbors, they came. So we called Uber, we took her from the hospital to another hospital. The name of the hospital is a fetal specialist hospital. That night, we took her there. When we got there, and they said, okay, that they will place her on observation. So they were watching her till the following day. So that morning, I came home to take my bed. The MD of that hospital called me that they will have to operate on her. I said, why? They said, since that they also tried, the cervix is not opening, and then she's already in labor, that the cervix has to open before she have to give birth. And I said, okay. So I discussed with my wife, because she said she's not going to use operation, that she believed God, she will give birth by herself. And I discussed with her that, okay, these are professionals, and the cervix is not opening, and you are feeling pains, your back, everything. We could not sleep at night. So I signed the paper that morning. So before they took her to the theater, we prayed, I anointed her and everything. After anointing her, she started saying she wants to poo. Then I called the nurse. I said, my wife wants to poo. Then the doctor came and checked her. He said she will soon deliver, that I should stay outside. I went outside. In less than 10 minutes, she delivered by herself without the operation, although I already signed the paper. When I went in, I see them cleaning up the baby, and she was even telling me that, I told you I would deliver this baby by myself without operation. I told her I have faith in my God. We were so happy. We even both prayed for the baby together. But I discovered that she was bleeding, and I saw them giving her blood. But I saw only one pint of blood that they hanged with the drip. And I asked the Lord, I said, is it only this blood you have? They said this is the only blood they have now, that they've called the blood bank for more blood. Because I saw the rate at which the drip was very, very fast, and this one was soon finished. And I told them, my neighbor is a universal donor, that he can actually donate if the blood from the blood bank is not forthcoming. They said I should not worry, that they've contacted them.
There, when the nurses started going up and down and we didn't know what was going on, and when we started asking questions, say she was bleeding, and it's a matter of blood and that they need blood. So, don't they have blood? They said they have only 1 pint of blood. I said, okay. Fortunately, I am a universal donor. Can they take from me and screen to see if they can, transfuse to her? And they said they can't do that. That if they take blood from me, they will need to take it somewhere for them to screen and then bring back. And I said, why? This is the first hospital I have seen that. I cannot count how many people have donated blood in my life. But even a clinic in common health center in my village, they have all those apparatus to do that. So how are you saying a big hospital like this cannot? The next thing, they were no longer saying they don't have the equipment to screen the blood. That if they take my blood, they will need to take it somewhere to screen it before they come. While we were mounting pressure on them and all of that, I think one of the doctors called me outside, a male doctor, that they are planning to call somewhere for me to go there. Then they will do the process of removing my blood and screen and all of that. Then we'll bring the blood. I said, fine, it's okay. I'm ready to go to anywhere. So he made a phone call and spoke to definitely a doctor colleague of his in another hospital. I don't know. I can only hear the conversation from his own side. I didn't hear from the other side. So after their pleasantries, he told her that they needed blood and he's thinking of sending somebody to them and all of that. So it's like she said no from the other side. So after their conversation, he told me that we can't. And I said, why? He said that they cannot do it. So I now asked him, why can't they do it in their hospital? He now said that they do not have blood bag. And I said, people don't have blood bags there. Okay, can we buy a blood bag? If it is a blood bag, he said, no, we cannot buy a blood bag. I said, okay. The doctor colleague you spoke to, can you call the doctor colleague to say they can borrow us a blood bag? If we have to pay, we'll pay. We need blood. I think because of the pressure, they now said the person they sent for blood. Before now, when we were mounting, they say somebody is coming with blood somewhere. Somebody is coming somewhere. Somebody is coming somewhere. He's here. He will soon be here. He will soon be here. It was they will soon be here until that time when he made that phone call. So after I told him that if we can borrow or buy a blood bag, he now said, no, we can't, but I should hold on. And then he came back to tell me that the person who went for blood is almost here.
I said, okay, we started waiting. I waited outside. They were trying to arrange the situation. Then they came out. I said, my wife is fine. They said she's okay, that the blood has stopped and that she's fine, she's okay. I said, okay, I thank God. I called, her sister was around. I told the sister that your sister has given birth. So I started calling people. I thank God, she has given birth, The next thing I saw the doctors, they were rushing in and rushing out. What is happening? They said the blood is not clotting, that the blood is already gushing out again. I said, okay, now this pint of blood you're giving out is finished and blood is coming out. And you people are still waiting for blood from the blood bank. They said, I should not worry, it should be fine. I should not worry, it should be fine. So they said they've called for ambulance and ambulance is coming. So I said, so people don't even have ambulance. So we are waiting. Although I also told my neighbors to help me call to book for Uber. So that one was not forthcoming. Before the ambulance came, it was going to close to 30 minutes before the ambulance came, and blood was coming out and she was not receiving blood because there was no blood. Blood from the blood bank hasn't arrived. So when the ambulance came for close to 30 minutes, then I called my colleague, my neighbors, all of us. We took her, she was already on the bed. We took her to the stretcher, from the stretcher to the staircase, down to the ambulance, entered the ambulance. They were giving her oxygen. Before we got to Lasut Ikeja Inke house, along the road, she stopped breathing. So by the time we got to Lasut in Ikeja, they took her to the emergency section. The doctor came out and tested her and said she's gone. So we are all praying, thinking, okay, maybe she will come back. We were praying, still praying. I called my dad, I called my pastor that they should join us in prayer. Maybe probably miracle will happen. So we were there till she gave birth around after 9 to 10. We were there till late in the evening before we now deposited our corpse in the mortuary. And then I came back to the hospital where she gave birth around after 7 to 8. I met my baby there. The baby has not eaten anything from that morning that she delivered. They said they gave the baby glucose. From that morning that she delivered around after 9 to 10 till around to 8 I came back. The baby did not eat anything. The baby was just there. So I bought food for the baby. I bought a nan one for the baby. They gave the baby food. Then I took my baby from the hospital. But I was now telling them, okay, assuming my wife did not give birth by herself, so you want to operate on my wife, it's only 1 pound of blood available. And okay, now you are operating her. If anything happens in case of emergency, you don't even have ambulance on ground. No ambulance, no blood. Now, my neighbor wants to donate because he's a universal donor. He said you don't have what you can use to collect blood and to screen the blood. No blood, no ambulance. And she gave birth by herself. She gave birth without no operation by herself. It's just the negligence from the hospital. No enough blood, no ambulance. Now, of course, I was telling the doctor, assuming there's ambulance on ground and there's enough blood, even before we go to our care and last suit, at least there'll be enough blood to be given her. And then before we get there, at least she will still be alive. The blood we're giving her is finished. Ambulance did not come on time. That's how I lost my wife in the hospital. My baby is with the sister, my wife's sister. Because after everything, according to their culture, I'm expected to take the corpse back to the village. So that is their culture. So I took the corpse back to the village on Tuesday. I know the baby is still small, so we can't go along with the baby. We kept the baby with my wife, pastor. So she helped us to look after the baby till we got back. So apparently now the baby is with my wife's sister. My wife's mom is around, so I don't take care of the baby for now. Yeah, this is our first child. This is the first issue since we got married. We've tried so many things, but this is the first issue. Since then, since I took my baby from that place, they've not reached out to me, they've not called me, nothing from them. This is uncalled for. You want to operate on somebody, you only have 1 pound of blood. You say you've called blood bank. Is the blood not supposed to be ready before the operation? Fine, she didn't give birth with operation, she gave birth by herself. And then you still say the blood is coming and there's no ambulance. To me, that is negligence from the hospital. It's negligence from their own part. No ambulance on ground. They say the ambulance, before the ambulance came, was going to close to 30 minutes. And the pressure they put on people for operation is too much. The pressure has been too much. Operation. The baby is fine. We did the scan. The baby is okay. The amniotic fluid is okay. The weight is okay. They did this machine. They put this machine on anatomy. The baby is breathing well. So I don't know why they took too much pressure on operation when the baby is fine.
On February 10th, she presented here with reduction in fetal movements, telling us that baby was not moving very well. There's the reduction in fetal movements. Okay? So around that time, we did a scan. Scan said that there's a reduction in fetal movements. That time I called in fact, I spoke with the lady first, telling her the essence that we need to do an emergency CS to bring out this baby immediately and also save her life. Yes, even the scan also showed that there's a low-lying placenta. So I talked to the woman. The woman said, over her dead body, we should do a CS. In front of the husband, I talked to the husband, thinking that the man will have a role to play as per to talk to the wife. They declined this consent of having an emergency CS done. That this was happening in February 10. Okay, now they requested for discharge. We told them the implication of their action. So she was discharged. She was fine, she was discharged, and we gave her 1 week appointment to come back for a follow-up, which is the normal thing to be done. They never showed up again. After 8 weeks, they presented to this hospital again with history of labor pain, bleeding. She was bleeding PV. This man never came back until 8 weeks after. She now came in with bleeding PV, came from another hospital. Bleeding PV, black blood drainage. In fact, fortunately, I was around that night. This was happening in the night. I told this man, okay, your wife needs to have an emergency CS done right now. This man started shouting. Nobody, go for liberty that anybody will operate on the wife. Nobody will operate on the wife. You understand? Even where it was later, he was now telling me that the hospital they were coming from, that night, they gave them option of CS. In fact, he had to share the consent form and carry the woman to this place. This man still maintained that no way nobody's going to operate on the wife. In fact, when the hospital they are coming from, the gynecologist did a scan and said that everything is fine, that nothing is wrong with the wife, that the wife can never deliver via CS. After that night, he left. The next morning again, I posted that we'll do an urgent ultrasound scan. Very early in the morning, our scan man came around 6 a.m. I said, let's do a scan. The man said, the baby is not doing well. I have to call that man early in the morning. Oga, come and carry your wife away from this hospital right now if you're not going to sign for CS. You know what I'm saying? All these things, time is of essence. Time is of essence, and I have my evidence, I have my record, everything is written on my EMR. I had to do a full and detailed documentation. So in the process of trying to prepare for the CS, the woman delivered. Okay? But whatever that happened in the hospital where they're coming from, I do not know. Whatever they did there, I do not know. Maybe the man can answer that. Patients being whom they are, they will not say all the truth. But it was after the woman's death I heard that they've stayed three days in the hospital where they are coming from, probably from prolonged labor. Maybe they offered them a CS and they still refused. So when the woman delivered, she started pouring blood. You know, her blood was not clotting. So with that, we had to get blood urgently to transfuse her. We placed her on oxygen and requested for a referral to lawsuits, and that was what happened. This kind of thing has never happened in Faith Hills because we are so proactive. We know what to do at any point in time. Because of this man's stubbornness, because of the wife's stubbornness, because, in fact, no. I've never gotten this kind of patient before in my life.
Yeah, let me also add to what she said, because I was here that day too. We administered blood, because immediately we noticed that the blood wasn't clotting. We administered blood and requested for ambulance and referral immediately. So, and the woman was on oxygen. The ambulance came promptly, and the woman was transferred to Lasut. So, blood was administered that day. There's no point us keeping the woman here and putting 30 pints of blood. When we promptly noticed that, okay, the human blood wasn't clotting, we cannot manage her anymore here. We requested for referral and put one blood on her immediately.